I like making videos, and I love making games. But I also love writing. That's why I decided to write a fiction Touhou novella. Before I dive into more details, I'll give a TLDR. This is a novella that will probably be around 100 pages long. It stars Sumireko Usami, although the story is told from other characters' perspectives instead. At this point, I think a digital release will happen no matter what, but the ultimate goal is to sell physical books at TouhouFest 2025, and maybe online as well. I have an interest form to figure out how many physical copies to make, and I have the first chapter available to read online for free. Both are linked in the description below. Okay, now for details. Sumireko Usami is one of my favorite Touhou characters. I love the idea that the person who'd be transported to Gensokyo wouldn't be someone like me, but would instead be a teenage girl who loves the supernatural. It fits well within the series. I've made a lot of work starring Sumireko, and eventually, I had an idea for a big story. It was a story that was too big actually, so I split it up a bit. I came up with a concept for a series. My series idea is called the Sumireko Chronicle, and the first book within it is called Violet Origins. It chronicles Sumireko's early steps into Gensokyo, with both canon events and new events. The idea behind the first book is to track Sumireko's journey, and how Gensokyo helped her become a better person. While certain chapters do connect together, others read more like an anthology. For most of the story, we aren't seeing Sumireko's perspective. Instead, we see the perspectives of other characters and how they feel about her. There's a chapter where Moko reminisces about meeting her during Urban Legend in Limbo, for example. On the more original side, there's a completely new story where Kasen takes Sumireko on a training journey. I like seeing things from different perspectives, which is why I wrote the book this way. But there's a few completely new characters too. In retrospective 53 minutes, Renko is excited for Mary to meet her family, the other Usamis. I've always imagined the Usamis as being an extremely close and loving family. There's a lot of stories about broken families, so I wanted to write Sumireko to have a supportive family instead. I wrote her a mom, who's an avid planner. I wrote her a dad, who thinks more on the spot. And I wrote her a younger brother, Ryo Usami. He's an original character who gets multiple chapters throughout the book. The only other character with multiple chapters is Moko. Sumireko is the only Usami with powers. Despite this though, both her and her brother are equally loved. None gets more attention than the other. Ryo loves to see things come together and strives to be an architect from a young age. But he also has an innate whimsy. He's mesmerized by what his sister can do. His chapters offer insight into Sumireko's family life. While loose, the book does have a sort of theme of identity. While Ryo has the freedom to choose what he wants to do, Sumireko is stuck with powers no one else in her world has. She feels locked behind them. Gensokyo finally offers her a place where she can meet other people like her. From there, she can discover who she wants to be. I've been working on this project since 2022, and am ready to announce it now. Why did I wait this long? Because I didn't want to announce something that wasn't happening. I am very happy to say that I have a complete proofread draft of Violet Origins. It's about 24,000 words long. So at the very least, this book will be released digitally at some point. I've had test readers read different parts, and from what I can tell, they liked what they read. But a digital release is not the end. My ultimate goal is to sell physical copies of this book at TouhouFest 2025. My Dojin Circle, Fantasy Mechanics, will be there with a fan game table. In addition to some fan game projects, however, I also want to sell Violet Origins as one of the main products. I think at this point, with ample time left before the convention, this is achievable. There are risks, of course. I mean, I haven't printed a book before, and I need to make sure I get a final draft done that can be printed. But rest assured, I will try my best. Less concrete is the idea of selling physical copies through an online store. I don't know if I can get a good setup for that, but if people want it, then I will try. I mentioned before that I had to split my original story idea up. If the book is successful, and there's demand, then I have ideas for continuing stories about Sumireko that would go beyond current Touhou canon. But I want to make it clear, Violet Origins does stand on its own. It doesn't end in a super cliffhanger. It just has a few open plot threads that can be continued later. It's very satisfying to see so much work finally come together in some way. Depending on how things go, there might be even more to go with this book, so stay tuned. I have 2 more things left I want to talk about. First, I have an interest form. I need to figure out exactly how many copies of this book I should produce. If you're interested in buying a physical copy, whether you're going to TouhouFest or not, then please fill out the Google form linked in the description. Secondly, if you're either skeptical or curious about the book, then I have something I think you'll like. I've put up the first chapter of my rough draft on itch.io, completely free to download. Donations are enabled if you want to support me making a physical release, but you don't have to feel pressured to donate. I'm not in a dire financial situation, donations would just help a bit more. Like the Google form, you can also find a link to the first chapter in the description. While there's still some work to go, I think the hardest part is over. Thanks for watching.